this one. Well, I'm going to say a couple more. Women's Voices for Earth Care, understanding the importance of including women in decision-making of environmental policy process and legislation for positive change. There's this amazing book on decolonialism by Manolo and Walsh, and one of the things they speak as a practice of intentional decoloniality is to work against the hierarchy that exists today in Western society, and to promote more of the feminist approach of relations as we move forward. And indeed, all of my local work, most of it is led by women leaders. So thank you so much. I'll give you the same 2-minute warning. And
you need to give me that warning.
And then, okay. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you, Katie, for this amazing introduction. Yes, I'm talking about women's feminism. What it matched this with lawyers in an international environmental conference. And this was me when I was thinking to apply to this conference and say, how I see myself talking to lawyers, judge, and lords. I read that somewhere. I am not a lawyer, I am not a judge, I am an educator, I'm a feminist. But also, I found this quote that said, if you want different results, do not do the same things. So I'm talking from maybe another perspective. And then I back up and I try myself to see the full picture of what is going on, because I care a lot for my planet. And then I thought, well, since I remember, and we have mass media, 72 years, we've been talking about the environment, we've been talking about how urgent it is to do something, but I think from my perspective we're missing 2 big factors. One is that we are not included, the 50% of the population of this planet who are women in all the decisions, from the bottom of society to the top decisions that we should include it. And another point that I saw, and I've been analyzing through all your speech, is that we are dealing with human beings, guys. We are dealing with human beings. And as Agnes Michelot in the first panel say, something about we create laws, but we cannot enforce those laws to every country, because what happens, we are dealing with people with different core of values, cultural, social, religion, many things that doesn't match with our beliefs. So that is, for me, a big issue why we don't move forward. And then I'm going to talk about this from the feminist perspective. We need to give an overview very fast about the patriarchal system, because when we don't understand how it started, we don't get it. We don't understand what should be committed first as a feminist, men and women, besides be a lawyer, for example, in creating laws. When we understand that all the history of humanity is being told by men and women being absent first, we can today talk about how we can say something with our voice when our voice has been silenced still in these years. How this start to be in society, how is the overview of the patriarchalism system, is essential to study the history and identify that providing the basic need was a pillar in the construction of change and social patterns. This has been maintained to these days, therefore, in some way, materialism has been determinant. The good of godness disappeared and became the good of masculine gods in the Neolithic era. Man discovered his conscience, and with that, the only role that we have today in so many countries, reproduce, ensure of offspring of humanity. Behind all this gender domination is a power issue based on mode of production and reproduction. If another human being doesn't care about the mother, about the daughter, about sister, do you think they are going to care about the mother planet? They won't. So how is that so many years ago, 4000 BC, to today is not that many changes if we see this very close? The World Economic Forum, actually 2016 and 2022, say that the gap, the gender gap, can be closed until almost 100 years. We don't have 100 years to save the planet. And we need every voice to work in this important and only matters issue today. So to understand the concept and how it cross with environment, it's important to understand the cultural masculinity and femininity. And this, from the social psychology perspective, did a big, enormous research. Karl, if I pronounce correct, defined cultural masculinity as preference in society for achievement, heroism, assertiveness, material rewards for success. Society at large is more competitive for men. In oppositive, cultural femininity has a preference for cooperation, modesty, caring for the weak, and quality of life. Society at large is more conscious-oriented. We need to be clear that this is a study research about countries that are very dominated for men. Doesn't mean that there is nothing real about genetics, that we women are more sensitive or more care, nothing about genetics, but this is the reality we have today in all the countries that have these patterns. And then I thought, should this have any relation with environment, some way, somehow? Let's see what are the countries that contaminate more the planet today. So I saw, China, United States, India, Russia, Iran, Korea del Sur. Do you know who are the most mature countries in this planet today? In no way can somebody can say, but the United States, a capitalist, a very freedom country. Yes, you can read or see the documentary of John Kilburn, Killing Us Softly, will say and talk about the machine of consumerism that women are moving. So women in the United States are more care about the next surgery they are going to have, not about the planet, believe me. And on the other hand, we have China, with voices of women are absolutely silenced even before they've been born. And then I thought, how is Costa Rica about this? Because I'm a proud Costa Rican, of course. We always talk about Costa Rica with both places. And yes, and about environment, and you must know, Costa Rica is in all the continent America, from the north to the south, the most feminist country, but it's also one of the 4 feminist countries in the planet, including Netherlands, Norway, and Sweden. Here we have kind of a graphic where masculinity compared with those countries that contaminate the most the planet are compared here. But also call my attention individualism, because Costa Rica is a very collective country. That should be something important for another conference. And then realize that in the 80s, all Central America was going through a very, very big deforestation situation. But Costa Rica became one of the first tropical countries to all but end deforestation and reverse the loss of natural. Today, around 70% of the land is once again covered in forest. We are so little in the world, 0.03% of the global land. But you know, we are 5% of the world rapidly shrinking biodiversity. We live in a world which poor people depends more on natural resources. Sorry, I'm trying to touch this here. Mhm. And women represent 70% of the poorest in the world and are more affected by violence and abuse against them when displacement occurs because natural disasters. Therefore, it can be confirmed that climate change is a form of gender and class discrimination. Rural women produce up 60% of household food, but rarely own the land. Actually, women own just 50% of the land globally and are small parcelas or pieces of land. I told this about it. Women and girls are underrepresented in advancing climate justice across all levels and sectors, from national to community level planning in the public sector, finance, and clean energy. Just 3% of philanthropic environmental funding support women and girls' environmental activism. We live in a world in which science, women's voices are silenced under the material effect. Women are unpaid to care labor and small-scale production activities. Women also manage limited resources during disaster, such as food and water, keep their family as safe as possible, and create networks to protect each other. Just as Costa Rica changed the environmental process of destruction in the past, can we change the patterns of humanity as they exist today? Can we develop patterns with values of cooperation and caring as the most important? I heard say by environmental science that we thought the three biggest threats in the environment were climate change, overpollution, and pollution, but they realized that the three threats are greed, apathy, and lethargy. If the culture of feminism is more inclined to value cooperation, modesty, and care, and the masculinity of value achievement, heroism, and assertiveness, we need to think that this culture of material rewards for success in society at large is more competitive. There is a strong argument to be made that feminine voices and decision making not only have the right to be included, but they are essential for real change to take place. Just to finish, we need to visualize that gender gap is a reality and include this in the agendas of environment from the bottom of society, not just on the superficial law. In the community where I go and work every day, moving the community, we need to realize that this is in some people a process of they are unconscious. We need to bring that to the superficie, but also we need to understand that the framework, stereotypes, values that create those laws that you are passing through from here to some countries or inclusive in their own countries are created based on those values of macho in so many countries. So therefore, the legislation, government policy, and infrastructure is not going to work as we expect. We need countries with women with more voice. We need to take action that really change the institutionality of gender bias through the education process of society. If we continue holding symposiums, passing legislations, taking actions with 50% of the entire planet is absent in the real field, in the countries, in the community, in the society, this is not going to work. We're going to do the same that we've been doing the 72 years ago. Thank you so much.